drivers, I found a disturbing gap in how Uber Eats can easily overcharge the customers. And I also want to show you how you can contact customer support. That way they can refund the customer should something like this happen. And also, the good news, this can apply and does apply to orders that you've already finished. I know this really is truly shocking to hear me say that Uber Eats customer support can help you, the driver. I know, but the customer getting refunded, that was far more important to me. And even in that case, I was donating my time because I wasn't getting paid. But the customer had been wronged, and whether he knew it or not, I wanted to do my part to help. Also, another thing that can really slow you down when you're doing the shop and pay orders is when the app doesn't scan. It just doesn't work. And I want you to know I've discovered a way to force the app into doing what it's supposed to, even when the scanner doesn't work. But more on that in a little bit. I had done this really highly profitable shop and pay order for Uber Eats, and it was good. And it wasn't until later that night when I discovered there was a problem. And I found this by looking at the receipt as I was using some apps. You know, there's some where you can make money scanning receipts. And I just happened to look on there. They were double charged for ice. The customer only ordered one bag, but they were charged for two. So obviously, how is it possible that Uber Eats would allow a charge like this to go through that basically should have been caught and screened? So that's a huge red flag as far as fraud goes, and that's scary. And you may ask, how did this even happen? Well, I went up to the freezer before I checked out. I scanned one bag of ice, and then I got in line. And I told the cashier you don't put all your heavy drinks up there. I put 1 case of water, 1 thing of Coke. And then I told her there's 2 cases of water, 4 cases of Coke, and then 1 bag of ice. So I think you can see what happened. She just charged 2. And surprisingly, their financial system didn't catch it. So when I saw that on the receipt, I knew I need to do the right thing and reach out to customer support to help that customer. And that brings up another big concern about fraud. Now, as a driver, if we're buying something and charging it to the customer, that's called theft, and we should be punished for that. And obviously there's mistakes that the cashier made, or maybe I would make a mistake and get too much stuff, but the customer should receive everything that he or she paid for. That's the difference. But still, that's unfair to the customer to receive things and be charged money that they didn't order. So shame on Uber Eats for allowing this gap to happen, and I would think they'd want to fix it. So my main concern that night was for the customer, because obviously he was charged too much and he didn't receive the product. And so obviously I already have a really poor opinion of Uber Eats customer service personnel because they don't help us. They don't help the drivers, and we're actually treated very poorly by Uber Eats. So I braved. I basically worked for free, and I contacted them. And I'm going to show you that now on how you can do that too. And I will say up front, the Uber Eats customer service, they wrote back and they promised that they would handle that with the customer. And I'll get to that here in a second. So to get help on an order you've already done, just go into your trips. And obviously you can get there by your earnings, see details, and then see earnings activity. And you can scroll down. I'll just touch again this shop and pay order that I did, this awesome one. And then you go down. Once you bring up the order in question, just go up there on the top right. You see the little question mark, touch that. And then scroll down and you'll see trips. And I know, incidentally, we may end up right back there. You touch that and then it'll say, hi, your name, and well, wanting to help you. And right here, obviously this doesn't fit. And so I want to say other delivery issue. And then right here, you'll see the menu to give as many details as possible and to choose the trip. So that's where you go back, and now you touch the one in question. And then I'll type some more words in there. And I already have it in here. I'm going to read to you what I wrote and give you their response. and then you hit submit. So this is so easy. It only took a few seconds. And obviously, if you already know what you want to write to them, that's helpful. So here's what I wrote to them. It says, please refund the customer $5.98 plus tax for ice. The customer ordered 1 bag of ice and the cashier rang up as 2 bags of ice. The customer received 1 bag of ice. And this is the store, the shop and deliver order I did, and I gave the date and time. I only caught it because I happened to look at the receipt hours later. I don't know if the customer realizes he was overcharged yet. Thank you for considering my request, Russ. And then the gentleman wrote back, introduced himself, the priority team support, and he's always happy to help. I'm sorry for the inconvenience caused to you with the order, and they give a number. As the cashier added an extra bag, ice of bag. Oh, that's funny. Cashier added extra ice of bag for this order. I understand that it can be upsetting, but you always make your best effort and take time to complete every delivery. Let me know. Let me help with this for you. Don't worry, I'll notify the customer about these items. Now you can continue with other deliveries. Thank you for your kind understanding in this matter. So that was good. I'm glad he wrote back. So now you can reach out to customer support should something like this to happen to one of your customers. And obviously we're not getting paid, but the customer's overcharged and we were involved, so why not be helpful? And thankfully, I'm glad to see this rare occasion that UberEats, the customer service agent, was helpful. Now, earlier I mentioned discovering a hack there on the app. When that scanning thing doesn't work for the shop and deliver orders, that's frustrating. But I discovered a way to force it to accept what you found. And obviously it needs to be the correct item because you're smart, you can use your eyes and you know what the correct item is. So I have good news for you. I've made a video teaching you how to use this hack and force that app to submit to your will. That way you're not wasting your time and you're getting paid for the work you're actually doing. So watch that video next and I'll see you there.